Hey, did you hear the new news? No, what is it?
Attack Attack released a new album. Oh yeah.
No way! Man, I better go home to my MySpace and update my profile with the newest song from them. Oh yeah. Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Matt Diazable coming at you with a new music review. Thanks for coming on by. Thanks for dealing with my horrible intros. And if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Oh yeah. Today I'm checking out the latest release from a band called Attack Attack with their newest album, 2. If you've been in the alternative scene for the past 20 plus years, you probably know this band, but if you don't, Attack Attack are a metalcore slash synthcore band, or a lot of people will probably throw it out there as a joke. They invented Crabcore. But yeah, they're a band that's been around since about 2007, 2006. I think they're from Dayton or Columbus, Ohio. They're from the Midwest, and they've been around. They were around from like 2006, 2007 to about 2013. They've had a bunch of member changes throughout the years. At 2013, 2014, they kind of called it quits. But in the past couple of years, besides, I think it's just the drummer, the original drummer is back. It's a completely new band, but it's still Attack Attack. So they dropped a new album, which is essentially a sequel album because it's called 2. But I'm really surprised because, like I said in my little intro, they were the MySpace band. If you know anything about MySpace, if you were up on MySpace, you knew about these guys because they were all over the place. Their videos, their style, their mixing of synths and metal music, they became quite infamous for this. And so they're back. And I'm really surprised to see like where they're gonna go with this new style and with majority of the band being all new members except for one. But I will have to say, being that the original drummer is still there, the drums are very important. So I think if you have possibly the drummer or the vocalist, a band could essentially still sound the same, even if all the other members change. But we will see. So it's been over a decade since the last Attack Attack album. And with this latest album, I feel like they really lean into nostalgia while trying to set up a new sound. Mixing heavy chugs, synth layers, and a good and surprisingly playful self-awareness. But while some moments on this record really, capture the chaotic fun that made them like a scene-defying band, other tracks on here feel a little bit too generic or just too disconnected from what, originally Attack Attack gave them that like unique spark they had back in the day. And the album starts off with a song called One Hit Wonder that, it builds with a very synthy intro, and then you get into some really chunky grooves and reverb soaked shouting vocals. It's the Attack Attack formula, but in like a very miniature state. Heavy riffs, clean choruses, and just enough bounce to feel somewhat familiar. Then you have tracks like Dance and Chainless that really keep that blend of EDM laced heaviness, but both feeling a little bit too clean, almost hollow at times, lacking that unhinged energy from their earlier work. The riffs chug hard, the screams are cutting through, but the choruses don't just land like they used to. They don't have as much staying power. But where this new album kind of succeeds, it's in like its weirder and more playful moments. The song Walk on Water brings on these guest vocals that give the song a closer to it gives it a feeling of more like country pop than metalcore, giving it a very unique flavor, while songs like Carmageddon and Live, Love, and Die, lean very hard into the synths and the bold riffing, tapping into that signature chaos that they've done before. Then there's the song I Complain on r/metalcore, where, it's quite funny how they're like taking jabs at, people who criticize them and, a little bit of a love letter to their past. It has a very auto-tuned swagger to it and some tongue-in-cheek lyrics, like when they're saying like in the song, you want the old sound. And then after them like talking about like that, you want that old familiar sound, they go into a very big breakdown, and it's possibly, the most Attack Attack song on the record because it is very silly, self-aware, and still heavy. And then the back half of this album kind of embraces more loosiness. Big Booty Bitches, is very playful and dense and overall quite fun, while the song Without You kind of veers completely into more EDM pop territory. more Chainsmoker style kind of music here than their, typical style crabcore, but in a funny way, it oddly fits into their like discography. Sacrifice and Jump Jump bring back big breakdowns and deep grooves, but feel a little bit less inspired and a little bit more by the numbers in terms of structure and delivery. At its best, this newest album from Attack Attack is quite bold and ridiculous in the only way Attack Attack can be. Unafraid to blur, EDM, metalcore, and pop into something that is quite chaotic. At its weakest, it feels a little bit on the lines of like generic octane core radio music with very clean production and just, little to no personality. And I guess what kind of saves this album and the band as a whole is their willingness to poke fun at themselves and lean into their weirdness and deliver enough chunky riffs to, keep the pits moving. So this latest album from Attack Attack 2 is uneven, but, quite entertaining. It's a bit part nostalgia, part reinvention. It doesn't always hit the magic of their earlier records, but when Attack Attack kind of embraced their silliness and chaos, it helps, remind you that, it was almost impossible to ignore them because they were so unique at what they were doing. Whether you liked it or not, they made themselves pretty well known. And so it's kind of like that, but a little bit flatter. But overall, this latest album from Attack Attack, I would give it an okay to decent 6 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me your favorite memories with Attack Attack. I know they went to Warped Tour a lot. I'm sure you did too. Tell me your favorite Warped Tour story about Attack Attack. Until next time, guys. See you in the pit. Good things about you. Cool little warm. Good things about you.